Okay, chemistry, week 6. So at this point, you should be able to understand radioactive decay and understand alpha, beta, and gamma decay reactions that can happen, decay products. So for example, you should be able to look at something like this, that is the decay of uranium, showing part of the decay of uranium where it turns from thorium into radium through an alpha decay. So if I asked you, you should be able to write out the reaction that is represented by this arrow here that produces an alpha particle. You should also be able to write the reaction that goes as radium decays into actinium. So this is a beta decay. So radium's going to shoot an electron out of the nucleus, and you're left with actinium. And it will go through this series of decays. So at this point, you should be able to understand and interpret these sorts of diagrams and the reactions that are associated with those. Secondly, so last week we started introducing the idea of half-life. So the half-lives is a measure of how quickly this stuff happens. So some things happen in a matter of seconds, and radioactive decay is not really a problem because it doesn't last very long, and other things happen over long periods of time. So this is what's shown in this diagram as well, is the half-life. So radium decays with a half-life of 5.7 years, meaning that if I have a pile of 100 grams of radium in 5.7 years, I'll only have a pile of 50 grams of radium. It hasn't gone away, right? So it's just turned into something else. So this week I'm going to ask you to get comfortable doing the calculations so that you can figure out how much material is left, or if you know how much material you started with and how much is left, how long it took. And this is a really helpful thing. So we're going to use this to understand the radio dating as other things. So really the half-life is the last chemistry skill that I'll ask you to learn. And then we're going to ask you to apply this. In the first place we're going to apply this is the radio dating. And we'll ask you to also think about how elements are formed through fusion, a type of radioactivity. And then at the end of the week, we're going to ask you to find a topic that you find interesting, and we're going to ask you to do a project on that. So the plan for this week is really now to shift from learning chemistry skills to trying to use those chemistry skills to understand something, and hopefully it'll be something that you find interesting. One of the things that's really important is radio dating. So we'll spend a little bit of time on radio dating. Carbon dating in particular is really important to get your head around, so we'll spend some time on that. So you'll be able to understand how that works, what some of the limitations are, and how useful that is, and how it's used to understand things like the age of material, and radio dating in general can be used to describe things, figure out things like how old the Earth is. Anyway, that's the plan for this week, and as always, if you have questions, I hope you'll send them to me, and look forward to chatting with you on the meet. And again, you've reached an interesting stage in chemistry where now you've got some chemistry skills that you probably didn't have just a few weeks ago. So let's put them to use and use them to understand some of the world around us. Talk to you soon. Bye.